Enchantée.
I'm sure these books are loaded with beautiful, wonderful stories, and that's what I hope you find here on this channel. Over the next few weeks and months, I'm going to be sharing with you all of my Paris trip in full detail. Today, I'm going to start with the highlights. It's been 18 years since I've been to Paris, and it turns out I love it as much today as I did back then. So join me right now for the highlights and stay till the end of this video because I'm going to be sharing with you how you can tour the City of Light with me. I have 2 trips coming up next year, one in April and one in October, and I'll be taking very small groups of people to this place that I love so much. Hello lovelies, I'm Angela and this is Parisienne Farmgirl. It is a beautiful day in Paris, so let's go do some discovering together. I've been home for a few weeks now, trying to really formulate my thoughts. How do you even begin to put into words the joy of returning to something that you thought was lost to you forever? After years of baby making to establishing our farm, getting our milk cow to the pandemic, the odds were looking slimmer and slimmer each year. And finally, I just realized last year, I need to go back. The whole Parisienne Farmgirl business plan, after all, has to have something to do with Paris, for heaven's sake. It couldn't just be a memory forever. I really had shed a lot of tears thinking I would never go back, but action was stirring in my veins. So I returned to Paris. I had the joy of bringing my 2 eldest daughters with me. You won't see their faces too much on social media. They prefer their privacy these days. But while Paris may have been returning to a true love for me, I had the privilege of watching them fall in love for the first time. And it was instantaneous. They've never been to a big city before. They've hardly even been to a city. And I was wondering if the pace and the noise and the sort of chaos of the metropolis would faze them. And it didn't. They instantly fell in love. I was extremely proud. They are both avid artists, so the first thing we did was head to the Louvre, and we had an incredible morning there. We got there just about before everyone else, and we were really able to take our time before the crowds began to swarm in. It was phenomenal. We brought our sketchbooks and really just tried to absorb every moment in this incredible space. I hadn't been to the Louvre since my very first trip to Paris, so I thoroughly enjoyed myself. Now, the Louvre is a little bit of a ways from Montparnasse, and that's where we stayed. We rented an adorable little studio with a comfortable sofa and a glass ceiling, even a glass rooftop that we could open and close. We covered a lot of distance during this trip. We calculated that we walked 81 miles and did over 500 flights of stairs. We really pushed ourselves, and it was definitely worth the exertion. I found my way to the Panthéon, which was one of my favorites, so I'm going to take you in and show you around a little bit. The visual stimuli in Paris really speaks to an artist's heart. Of course, there is this posh consumer world within Paris that I will never be a part of. It looks very fun, but it's that pesky price range issue, but it doesn't matter. In Paris, I can consume in my own way the well-dressed people, the architecture, and the history. The attention to detail never escaped me. All these features are there for mass consumption at every turn. And of course, patisserie is there for mass consumption at every turn. I think this is one of the reasons I love living in the country, because I have a landscape to create and design. I can arrange it in a way that really pleases my eye and makes me feel at home. There's something for me to behold in each rose garden bed, and while our home is still a work in progress, as you know, in each different room, there's something beautiful for my eye to land on. And I've done that with a lot of intention, for the world can be really abrasive and harsh, and creating my own little world is very important to me. So I've chosen to do that in remote northern Wisconsin. But I think perhaps I feel very at home in Paris because I can rest my eye on something beautiful just about everywhere I look. Visiting Paris means you are stepping into someone else's reality. You're stepping into another culture's idea of beauty. For me, a great example of that beauty is everything that's available to observe at the flea markets. So much history, either in textiles or antiques, retro items, true antique items. I had a great time refreshing myself. Obviously, it's been a little while since I've been to the Paris flea markets. They are a place that I love very much. And so we did the Paris flea markets, and we did them good. And it was a great refresher to get ready for next year's tour. When you're stepping into another people's perception of how things should be done, you either find it pleasant, beautiful, or intriguing, or you won't. For some of us, these differences really inspire us. These differences complement some of the aesthetic ideals that we have in our hearts and minds, and in other ways they challenge us, and that challenge is incredibly motivating. And I think it's for these people that Paris can feel like an instantaneous second home. Not all who visit Paris will have such an emotional response. Not all who visit Paris will even need to have an emotional response. It can be an incredible stamp on the passport, a fond memory. But for me, Paris is a portion of me. A portion of me I didn't know I'd get to experience again. And when I arrived, I not only greeted Paris as an old friend, I greeted a portion of myself as an old friend. "Oh, there you are," I said to the Parisienne of my farm girl. "Life is very wonderful, and you are surrounded by people you would die for, and you have a home and a life that you love. But there you are. I forgot you, and I forgot what you felt like. Welcome back." I have so much more to share with you about my time in Paris, so make sure you have subscribed, watch another video, and of course, if you'd love to go to Paris with me, click this button right here. À bientôt!